with another video for you, and this is a find that I did on the local recycling plant or garbage facility or dump or what you call it. And the frame around the screen here was actually in kind of bad shape, or is in a bad shape, because it was dumped and this was stacked underneath a lot and lots of other flat screens and stuff that was thrown away. But as you can see, this is actually a Sony Trinitron, and it has the classical very deep Trinitron picture tube to make the surface here as flat as possible. And while there was some scruff marks and stuff around the bezel, the screen itself looks actually pretty good. I have not tested this yet. As I said, it was found on the dump and they don't deliver with a warranty over there. The screen itself is a Sony model KV14LM1E, and it's made in Spain, and it has a SCART connector. It has an analog built-in TV tuner, but it also has an AV input on the front and a headphone jack. This also suggests that it at some time has a remote control, and I was just trying to turn this on and check what the picture quality of this is, or if it's working, or is not. Anyway, even though it was a dump fin, I have high hope for that this is actually working. We will keep you in the dark a bit longer as to whether this monitor is working or not, and take a quick peek into the service manual. Sony is a really neat company, at least it was back in the day. It didn't slap their badge on any kind of equipment that was made by OEMs around the world. They mostly at least designed their products themselves, and in some cases they outsourced the production, but at least there always was some kind of Sony originality about their products. And this is the monitor that we have here, and it's the Spanish version. And these different versions here are with different sound and video systems. And this Sony service manual is a really neat composition. You can see here the difference in video and audio amongst the different versions. And this is a really comprehensive guide. It describes all the signals in the SCART connector. It explains the self-diagnostic software that's kept within the unit. It describes how you get into the service menu. It also describes how you do different kind of adjustments and other stuff into the service menu. We won't be able to show this in this video because the service menu requires a remote control, and although I have an original Sony control, I was not able to get it to work on this TV, and that's maybe because the remote control I have is much newer, but I will try to find a remote control for this just to go into the service menu. And as you can see, it has the disassembly guide. It also describes that you need to discharge the anode of the CRT. It also tells you how to remove this, and it tells you how to discharge this with a screwdriver. It's a really good manual, and people can learn a lot of different stuff about CRTs by looking into this manual. It actually is a course in itself. It describes how the yoke is working, how the adjustment of the yokes is working. It describes about the different colors, how the picture tube works. So this is something I really think that if you are interested in old equipment, looking into these old service manuals is really a good way to gain knowledge of this. And even as a novice, even if you don't know all the terms, you can learn some of the terms and some of the adjustments and some of the things that you can look out for. And then you come into the schematics parts, and this is a bit troublesome to show here because the schematics is in a larger paper format. But all in all, I can tell you this is one of the best service manuals for a small screen TV that I ever saw. And now back to testing the monitor. Yeah, high voltage came on. But nothing more. I don't know what all these buttons are, okay? Here it comes for language and stuff. We say Norwegian is okay. But I don't know what to do. I will actually just try to connect up my trusty old Commodore 64, the one I used in the last video where I tested a 14-inch TV. So I will just put this aside. And as there was a video input in the front, I will just try to connect a composite video cable to my Commodore 64. I think like so. Turn this on and see what happens. This is channel 1 setup as of now. And I have to see if I find some means of changing this. Okay, there you are. And I have to say, I have always loved the Trinitron experience with monitors and TVs and stuff. They have their issues. Because the screen is so flat, they always have some distortions and unlineliness in the corners. But the picture looks really good. You have the red shift here on the side and on the characters, but that's the video chip and the modulator in the 64 that's causing this. But this is actually a result that I can live with, and I'm going to just clean up this monitor and maybe I sell it, maybe I keep it to do tests here on the bench. The picture quality is much better than on the Nokia that we was testing last time. So I will just turn this off and start to clean it. I'm going to clean this with just some paper, and I'm used this red spiritus. It's alcohol that's covered in red so that people not should drink it. It's not as easy to evaporate as isopropanol, and it doesn't dry as fast as a result of that. But I want to give this a good rubbing with some alcohol to, yeah, it's found on the dump, and it's of course not the most healthy place on earth. And God knows where this has been stored these years, because it's actually many years since people used these kind of TVs in any settings. They was used on child's rooms and in kitchens and cabins and stuff. But since this is not a 12-volt model, it's probably been sitting unused, stored in a garage or in a shed or something for several years before they now decided it was time to throw it away. This alcohol is not the best cleaning solution, but it takes away fat, and it's also have some disinfection properties. So I'm just going to give this a quick surface rub. I will try not to get some of these on the screen, because this actually can affect if there is a layer with anti-reflection and that kind of stuff on the screen. Yeah, here you can see that this can be stored in a moist environment. A lot of dead spiders, and there are also some insulation dust. So it has been stored in a rather hostile place. So I will just give it a quick test, and I will also try to establish the vintage of this model. I can't see no production year in the markings on the back, and I might have to open it, but it used to be some markings in plastics and stuff. There actually is some place to mark dates, but there is nothing marked there. I would guess that this is a product of about year 2000 or something along the line of of that. There are some markings in the plastic here, and this is the same thing you can see on old Commodore equipment and other stuff that's been stored with the cable running along it, and it seems like it's kind of melted, or this has etched into the plastic. And there are some more scuff marks, not so much here, but we saw some of them earlier. And you have some here that's quite severe, and this is marks that's come now with it being thrown in the trash and actually was stored beneath a lot of junk. And I had to trick the local watchmen of our recycled goods so that I can get this out of there. This is actually one of 3 monitors that I was able to salvage this time, but I will test those in another video. I will just now try to test it again. I won't bother with these scuff marks, but this I will try to have another go at a later time. Maybe I will try with a magic eraser pad or something later on. As for now, I will just try to turn it on again and see that it fully works, and give it a bit of more lengthy testing to see if it lasts. Sometimes this kind of equipment is thrown away because it works for maybe an hour and then it starts to get unstable or turn itself off or other stuff. So I will just connect it up to the Commodore 64 and give it a picture, and I won't bother with these scuff marks and other markings here until I give it a more throughout test. So I will just leave it on here for maybe an hour. So thanks for watching. Please hit subscribe if you want to be notified when we post new videos, and see you in the next one.